People, this man right here named Rasheem Carter was being chased in Mississippi by 3 truckloads, a white man that was yelling racial slurs at him. So while this man was being chased, he ran to the police station in Taylorsville, Mississippi. He told them he was being chased. White man was yelling racial slurs at him. He said he was very scared. Can they please give him a ride? The police told Rasheem Carter they is not a taxi service. And then Rasheem Carter told them exactly where he was going. And then they said that's out of their jurisdiction. So Rasheem Carter left the police station when they refused to give him a ride. He was later seen that day on surveillance camera at a Family Dollar. He was looking very scared. And people, later on that same day, after he was seen at Family Dollars, he was caught on surveillance cameras running in the woods in Taylorsville, Mississippi. He did not have a shirt on. He was sweating. He was looking over his shoulders, and it looked like he had a stick in his hand for protection. People, this man was never seen alive again when he was running into the woods with no shirt on, with a stick in his hand. He was looking very scared, looking over his shoulder. His body was found 1 month later in the pieces. People, when I tell you Rasheem Carter's body was in pieces, his vertebrae and his spinal cord was in a different spot than his head. He was beheaded. He was missing his teeth. People, this man's body parts was scattered all over the woods. Investigators found 4 separate sets of his remains in the woods. Now, people, what I'm about to tell you next is going to be hard to hear, but whomever did this to Rasheem Carter, they took their time and cut his body up in the woods. People, they found Rasheem Carter private parts in his mouth. Yes, they found his private parts in his mouth. Now, people, get this. Law enforcement said it was no foul play. They said animals did that to this man's body. Now, people, let's just recap. This man was being chased by 3.
We are not dealing with human beings. We're dealing with demons who walk this earth. This is the barbecue we had last night. Your son, Joe. This is a postcard that got sent out after a lynching. I think they said 2,000 people attended. Burned them, took off digits. These y'all grandparents, bro. For every one of us, there's thousands of them that want to see shit like this. Like, you can try to gaslight me, you could try to gaslight us, you could try to say whatever, you could try to erase history. This shit happened. This happened, and these folks remember it, and this man's family remember it. These motherfuckers are demons, dog. And we sit up here and listen to these motherfuckers. This motherfucker could be in Congress right now. This motherfucker could be your senator right now, bro. These could all be police commissioners, lawyers, doctors. Dead.
Because a whole generation has no idea that this happened. Even your mother and father, who may be 45, 55 years old, they might not remember this because they were supposed to forget. They never show you this. They never remember what happened in Philadelphia in 1985. They never show you that, but you're going to see it here today.
All war underway on a street in Philadelphia tonight.
There was gunshots, thousands of rounds of bullets from the police.
Police moved in with tear gas and water cannon.
They wanted to kill our children.
I had recommended to use an explosive entry device.
The house shook. Smoke was coming in, so we knew they dropped the bomb on us.
Police allowed the blaze to burn an hour and a half before calling in firefighters.
I don't care what they said. There was no justification for what they did.
They done burn up 2 blocks. Explain that.
I never imagined that the government would drop a bomb on a row house in Philadelphia.
It's an embarrassment to the city of Philadelphia.
My name is Ramona Africa, and I was there when the police dropped a bomb on me and my family May 13th of 1985 and killed 11 of my family members. I was there.
God. All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to those for elect, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. I'm the Brother Kodar. I'm joined with
Brother Agwami.
And this video is going to be entitled the 24th movie, going into the hatred
of Esau, Edom for the Israelites. Okay, the Lord said He will put enmity between thy seed and thy children's seed, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a hatred between Jacob and Esau, you know, that has started. That was there since the beginning, you know. And the Elder Malcolm had made it mandatory for bros here in Chicago to watch this 24th movie, and it, you know, it's one of those movies that pisses you off.
Yeah, facts.
You know, and but it just reminds you of the hatred that this devil got for us, man. And these Edomites been getting bold lately, bro. Hey, it's been a lot of Jakes that's been getting put to death.
Yeah.
You know, they just had that
Nolan Wells.
Yeah, that Nolan Wells situation.
I ended up doing a lesson on it. So essentially, you know, you had this Jake that went out with his, you know, quote unquote Edomite buddies, and he never returned.
Yeah.
You know, their parents end up deactivating their social medias. They end up deactivating their social medias.
Lawyered up.
Yep. Scripture says, you know, never trust thy enemy, man.
That's right.
You know, but Jake doesn't understand that fact. So the Lord always reminds Jake, you know, in that case, hey, why you should never trust your enemy, man.
That's right. Hey, you got, and he wasn't the only one. It's been a lot of people before and after him, right. And it's still going on.
Yep.
You know, you got these Edomites masking up as with them silicone masks, looking like Jake coming up into the city to shooting.
Yeah.
You know, niggas talking about is this shooting in a city, you know, and you know, of course, niggas shooting at each other, you know, but a lot of these things be Esau, man.
Yep.
You know, you got the that Patriot. And the 4th of July, they had that Patriot.
Yeah, I think it was in Washington, D.C. or either Colorado.
Yep. It was in D.C.
Yeah, it was D.C. Okay,
hey, and these people are your teachers, your lawyers, you know, your mailmen. Yeah. You know, all these Edomites, man, they were marching for white supremacy. You know, quote unquote white supremacy, because we know that's a made up term. That's a social construct.
Yeah, and that spirit has been returning back. You know, as you said, Esau Edom is getting voted ever since Trump got back into office, man.
That's right.
You know, because Trump has been pushing that, you know, make America great again.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Can I hit you with this precept?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
This is the book of Genesis 27 and 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, goes back to the word la, which is the mind.
That's right.
The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And right, all the descendants of Esau thinks this way. They have this mindset, man.
That's right.
You know, it's an ancient hatred. You know, going back to what ultimately was, you had Jacob supplant the blessing from Esau. It was our blessing anyways.
That's right.
But ultimately, Esau and the descendants of Esau have that mindset. Their mindset is what? Then will I slay my brother Jacob, man.
That's
right.
Right.
They find, you know, cunning ways, slick ways to come up over Jake. And if you watch the movie 24, you see the hatred that these Edomites show within that movie, man. You know, ultimately, you know, you had a scene where you ultimately had a Jake sitting in the front of the trolley.
Yeah.
You know, Esau told him to move. You know how Jake was, you know, hard-headed. And ultimately you had Esau, you know, the police was called down and they end up beating the shit out of Jake.
That's right.
You know, so this is the ancient hatred, you know, that perpetual hatred in which Esau and them has for our people, man.
Mm-hmm. God, I got one for you, bro. It's the book of Ezekiel 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So the scripture says they have a perpetual hatred. That means forever.
That's right.
That means that shit's been there since the beginning. Yep. You know, what's another word? What's a synonym for perpetual? Everlasting.
Everlasting.
Forever. Longing, continuing. You know? So this is something that has been constantly going on since the beginning. They were literally fighting in the womb.
Yeah.
You know? They're literally duking it out in the womb, man.
Because even says in Romans 9, the Lord has made one for honor and one for dishonor.
That's right.
You know, so it's that yin and yang effect, man. Mm-hmm. Hey, the Lord has one for good and one for evil, man.
That's right. Somebody got a role to play. Esau is the evil twin brother.
That's right.
You know, our evil uncle, man.
Yep.
All right. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Hey, Esau has spilled the most blood, all right, on this fucking planet, man. Especially towards the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And even the speckled birds. Okay? All around the world, he goes around spreading bloodshed, man. Christopher Columbus, what did he say? If I be known of anything that I never put my sword down.
Yep.
You know?
Because it talks about in Micah 2, they cover fields and take them by violence, man.
Mm-hmm.
You even still finding Jake being hung from trees to this very day.
Yeah.
You know, because a brother was in this camp. You know, I had a conversation with him. You know, the elder brother, he said when he was younger, he seen a Jake in the South being that was hung on a tree, man.
God.
You know?
just goes to show you that perpetual hatred that Esau has for our people, man.
Yeah.
You know, and the movie The 24th, hey, this is, you know, an event that's documented. Just think of the things that's not documented.
That's right.
Man.
That's right. That's right. Hey, look at all the examples of Black Wall Street.
Yep.
All the Israelite community that was burned down.
Yeah, burned down.
You know, and now Esau talking about y'all don't do y'all own things.
Flooded.
You know?
Yep.
Flooded.
Yep.
You know, look at Derby dose.
Yep.
Okay, look at Esau shooting Jacob with syphilis, man.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, this dude is the devil, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, stealing the inheritance of Gad's land, flooding them with diseases, man. All right, killing over a million buffaloes just to get at Gad. You know, hey, this dude is the devil, man.
Yep.
You know, it says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate. Hey, the Most High is going to make you desolate, man. Yep. It says, and I will cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and thy hills and thy valleys and all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. Hey, so the Lord is building up this devil's tab, man, and his wickedness is overflowing. So he has to get exterminated, man.
Because it talks about in Isaiah 34, you know, it says, my sword is bathed in heaven, it shall come down upon Idumea. That's the Greek way of saying Edom.
That's right.
You know, for all of, you know, the sins that Esau, Edom has done, Colossians 3:25 says, you know, he's going to receive of the wrong which he have done. You know, the Lord is not to respect the person. See, you have it. Hey, what's that in Zephaniah? It says, you know, we're the apple of the Lord's eye. We're the Lord's children. So how much more of a nation that the Lord doesn't care about the basic man?
Exactly. And look at all the shit that we went through.
That's right.
And we the Lord's people, like you said.
Yep.
You know, and quick fact real quick on this 24th movie, they wanted them to go out to France, you know, where they was using Jake as meat shields.
Yeah, yep.
They was using Jake as meat shields, man. So if they wanted a specific area, they would send Jake out first to die, you know, and weaken the enemy, you know, and then Esau go home and claim the victory. You know, that's Esau's whole MO, man. And as a matter of fact, this is actually a fact. When Jake started to enter the war, that's when the U.S. started winning.
Yeah, facts. You had the Buffalo Soldiers.
You know, kind of.
But I got one for you, brother.
Yeah, Bible show.
This is the book of Ezekiel 25 and verse 12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah, and Judah, you know, is the African Americans, but Judah also represents the southern kingdom.
That's right.
It says, against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. You know, you have different accounts throughout history, right? You know, hey, the 24, which we're talking about, but you had, you know, cases of cannibalism that was committed against Jake, bug breaking, you know, ultimately feeding our babies unto alligators. That's ultimately how Esau, Edom, you know, greatly offended.
Yeah.
You know, he greatly offended Yahweh Bashem Yahushua by doing those said things, man.
Right.
Scripture says they forwarded the affliction, man.
Yep. Hey, when the Babylonians ransacked and took Jake out, who was helping them? It was Esau. That's right. They go them niggas, hey, burn it all down. Burn it all down. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Take them niggas down. The Lord hates Esau, man.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 13, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan, they shall fall by the sword. That's why Isaiah 14 says what? The Lord is going to cut off, son and nephew?
Yep.
Because ultimately those are the ones that brings back the nation, man,
That's
man.
Yep.
You know, through the seed line of the man. So ultimately the Lord is going to exterminate the line of Esau, Edom, for the great atrocities that they have done to our people, man, over the course of history, man.
Right, the apple of the Lord's eye.
Yep.
You know, and on the planet Earth. You know, because these are servants. The shit he's doing to those Ishmaelites over there, those are servants.
That's right.
You know? But I got one real quick. This Romans 9 and verse 12. It says, it is said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Okay? Yahweh Shem Shai hates Esau. Esau was the first murderer. You know? Then lied to the Most High. And then made a diss track. This nigga made a diss. You know what I'm saying? All right, hey. What was it Esau's son? Lamech, yep.
Lamech, yep.
You know, made like a diss track on that, man.
Yeah, because they love blood, man. And ultimately they glorify and ultimately shedding the blood of the righteous, man. The saints. And who are the saints, man? The Israelites.
That's right.
You know? And you read all type of, you know, detestable, you know, things in history. It's ultimately, you know, always done by Esau.
That's right.
You know, 10 times out of 10.
Yeah,
man. It's an Edomite.
Yeah. And that's why Yahweh Shemel Shai, hey, because the Lord is stirring up that spirit of Jake too. Jake ready to get down.
Yep.
You know? And you notice whenever Esau kills Jake, it's always when they outnumber him too.
Yeah.
You know, but Esau can never stand toe to toe with Jake. The scriptures say one day shall be stronger than the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I got one for you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Psalms 137:7, it says, "Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom, and the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, meaning what? Destroy it.
That's right.
Even to the foundation thereof." You know, you
Perfect.
had, you know, during the time of the Babylonians, as the brother Kodar said, you had Esau ultimately what? You know, partake in that, you know, the desolation of our people, man.
Yeah.
You know, you had, throughout the course of history, you had the Greeks, you know, eventually coming to power later on. Then you had the Romans, then in the second leg of the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Always had a foot in Jake's ass ever since then, man.
Always.
You look at, you know, Alexander the Great and his 4 generals came into power. You had Antiochus Epiphanes.
Look at Haman.
Yeah, Haman, putting hell upon our people, you know, time after time, man. You know? But, you know, hey, just funny that you mentioned the story. I just got done reading that. You know, funny that you mentioned that. What ended up happening to Haman, man? He fell into his own devices, man. He ended up getting caught up. The same thing is going to happen this time around also, man.
That's right.
Verse 8, it says, "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us." And what has this place ultimately rewarded us, man? Death and destruction. This devil has rewarded us with what? Death and destruction. We were forced to build up this man's kingdom. You know, families were split up. You know, we didn't, you know, scripture says in Deuteronomy, we ain't had no type of assurance of our life.
Right, yeah.
You know, so ultimately what? How's we're going to reward, you know, this devil back? Because it says in Revelations, you know, reward thee as she rewarded thee, you know, give double unto her. You know,
Double
loosely
unto her,
paraphrasing.
yep.
So this is what this devil is going to get. It's going to give, we're going to give double back to this devil, man.
That's right. I got one for you. That's Isaiah 14:21. I'm gonna read it in the KJV, then I'm gonna read it in the NLT. It says, "Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities." Okay, hey, because every time Esau rises up to power, wickedness spreads, deceit spreads, a lie spreads. Okay, signs falsely so-called spread. That's why he has to be exterminated. Okay, it says, "For I will rise up against them, saith the Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh," right? Because the seed line is through the male.
That's right.
Okay, so the Lord is going to exterminate them. All right, it says, and then I'm gonna read it in the NLT, the New Living Translation. It says, "Kill this man's children, let them die because of their father's sins. They must not rise and conquer the earth, filling the world with their cities. This is what Yahweh of heaven's army says. I myself have risen against Babylon and will destroy its children and its children." So Yahweh Shemashah has destruction slated for Esau, man.
That's right.
You know, and just to back that up, I wanted to grab Job 18:19. You know, going into the that son and nephew. You know, because hey, that great destruction is going to come for the nation of Esau, man.
That's right.
You know, it says Job 18. I will start at verse 14, and then we could keep that Salakia. Keep that Obadiah 1:17 on standby. It says, "His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors." All right, Yahweh is the king of terrors. All right, Alashadja, or demon-like power. It says, "It shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation." Okay? "His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branches be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth. He shall have no name in the street." Hey, this shit gonna be like a bad dream, man. Yeah. Like, hey, bro, hey, because here, what we can't get back is time. That's why it's important in this truth to have good time management. That's a skill that you have to develop. Yeah. You know, we can't waste our time. We actually got to have good time management.
That's right.
We got to read. We got to study. We got to go to the line. At the same time, you got to go to work. You got to take care of your financial. You got to take care of your shit at home.
That's right.
We got a lot of stuff to do. But in the kingdom, we're going to have nothing but time.
Yeah.
You know? So think of a whole fucking 5,000 years go by, because we're going to be living forever.
That's right. Eternal life.
All right? And just multiplying. Okay? Remember this nigga Esau?
It talks about that. I believe it was that Job 20.
Yep.
It says the triumphing of the wicked is short, but the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. You know, it talks about his he shall perish
like his own dung.
Like his own dung.
Yeah, like remember this nigga Esau 5,000 years ago? You telling your children about them?
Yep.
Like what the fuck? You know?
Because in fact, Esau Edom played a purpose of ultimately what? Because it talks about in Psalm 17, Esau Edom being the Lord's whooping stick, man.
Yeah.
He was ultimately created to do wickedness, and we learn a lesson from it.
Yeah.
And ultimately what? That lesson is about to be done, and it's not going to be no more use for Esau Edom. The Lord is going to, give us Esau Edom ultimately to get that, payback. He's going to serve his 1,000 years of captivity, and as we're reading, he's ultimately going to be exterminated.
Mm-hmm. Job 18:18, it said he shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. He's going to be exterminated.
Mm-hmm.
He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwelling. So he's going to be exterminated. His seed line is going to be cut off.
That's right.
Okay? There will be no more fucking rule of Esau Edom, man.
Mm-hmm.
And this earth is going to rejoice because of it. The whole world is mourning right now, man. You can grab it. You got the Obadiah?
Yep, Obadiah 1 and start at verse 17. It says, "But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions." Who was our possessions, man? Hey, these other nations beginning with the Edomites. It says, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh have spoken it." Because
right.
even I believe it's
That's
right. Jeremiah 30. It says, "All they that devour thee shall be devoured,
Yep,
and every last one of them shall go into captivity." Man,
bro. That's comforting, bro.
Yeah, call on me. How about
that's comforting, bro? Because man, we got to get the hell up out of this place, man. And we know Esau Edom's. Yeah. We know his what's that word? We know his end. We know his fate.
Yeah,
we know his fate. So that's comforting, and that keeps us going.
Either fate or destiny, one of the two. Yep.
And that keeps us going, bro.
That's right.
Going through our hell, we like, okay, I'm going through this, but at least I know the wicked is gonna fall, man. Because that's Sirach 25%. We're living.
That's the spirit. I was just finna grab it.
Yeah, that's spirit.
I was just finna grab it as soon as you said it.
We're living to see this, man.
But this is the book of Sirach 25:7. If I can read it just real quick. Sirach 25:7 says, "There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th will I utter with my tongue, a man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy." And ultimately, we're seeing the fall of this man right now, man. It talks about in Deuteronomy 30:7, the curses are coming upon our enemies, man.
Yeah.
You got Edomites in Jake's so-called neighborhoods begging Jake for change, man. You have today, which is the spirit. I seen an Edomite, woman ultimately, how it talks about the daughters of Zion shall be basically baldness.
Yeah.
I seen the Edomite just patches everywhere on her head, man. A lot of these Edomite women, starting to go with Jake. So our enemies is losing, man. The infrastructure of the Edomite kingdom is getting destroyed, man. So we're living to see the fall of our enemy, man.
That's right.
Just as prophecy has told us, man.
Mm-hmm. We seeing them curses being put on our enemies.
That's right.
But you had any more?
I got one more.
Count.
This is the book of Amos 1 and verse 11, and it reads, "Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof." So going back to the end, and just talking about the end of the 24th, ultimately what? I believe it was 9 Jakes that was ultimately hung, and the rest served life in prison.
Yeah. Yep.
So Jake ultimately, because of the injustice, you had Jake ultimately take things into their own hand. They end up killing civilians. They end up killing police officers. Yep. I believe they end up killing 2 military personnel also. Because ultimately what? Jake just eventually got fed up, man. So ultimately what? I'm going to just finish this out.
Yep.
"I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword." And how did he do that? Because Jake's is suffering biological warfare through the air, the food that we eat. Because this devil weaponizes everything.
Everything.
Hey, just look at Jake's neighborhood. Hey, a lot of Jake's neighborhoods is bad, pollution, different factories. And we're forced to breathe into all this bullshit. That's why we suffer from asthma.
Mm-hmm.
The brother mentioned, the syphilis project, because he did pursue his brother with the sword and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually. He kept this wrath forever, because he even talks about in Wisdom of Solomon, they should not regard the person of the old or the young, man. Mm-hmm. I think it talks about that in Deuteronomy also.
Yep.
But ultimately, he has no pity, whether it be our elderly or our young people, man. Hey, see you happy. He fed our kids into alligators, man. Mm-hmm. Just look what just a boat ride over here alone. A lot of our people, we suffer casualties, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look at them Jakes. Them Northern Kingdom Israelites over there in the alligator Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them underage girls.
Yep.
A lot of those, Esau is ravishing a lot of those women, putting a lot of them to death, torturing them. You know, but you got it, brother. You can read verse 12.
It says, Amos 1:12 says, "But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the places of Bajra."
Palaces.
Yeah, palaces, the water. Palaces of Bajra. And this is exactly what's going to happen. Because what's the capital city of Edom today, man? America, Babylon the Great.
That's right.
You know, so the Lord is going to ultimately rain down, thermonuclear missile fire upon this place. And ultimately what? Esau Edom is going to be dragged into captivity for 1,000 years and ultimately eradicated, as we read in that Obadiah 1:18 and Job the 18th chapter, man.
That's right. That's right, man. Hey, but Lord willing that lesson was edifying. We want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the full elect. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Shalom, Kwame Sharala, and the Bible Ball.
I will say that the shootings are happening by white supremacists that's on the Chicago Police Department and other white supremacists that's coming into Chicago and shooting on the weekend on their time off. You know, on their days off, hey, let's go kill some black people. On the Labor Day weekend, on the holiday weekends, let's go out and kill black folks. Now, the reason why I believe this, I want you to watch two clips. Now, this clip is going to be white people wearing masks that look just like black men. I want you to watch it. It's very scary, but let's roll these clips.
Somewhat new and something very new. What I'm wearing right now is a dermal synthetics Derek mask, and it fits great, as you can see. I don't have any makeup on under my eyes right now, but I am wearing my contacts and have a nice shiny bald head. The other things that are really new are these. And this is a smaller version of the normal gloves from CFX. And they were able to skin match the color of the mask to the gloves. I've had SPFX gloves before, and while they fit pretty well, they were very poorly made. They ripped a lot, and they really didn't feel as great as these do. As you can see, they really match the color of the mask very well, and they don't really look that big, so you can really get away with it. Now, the question most of you probably asking, why would they make something like that? You saw how realistic those masks look? You saw the guy had the gloves that look like black hands? So, think about this. The white supremacists go and get these masks and these gloves. They put on hoodies or whatever, get in cars and just roll up on innocent black people and start killing them. And then, notice, nobody never know who did the shooting. People from Chicago tell me it's cameras all over the place, and none of these shootings are never solved. You know why they're not solved? Because the white supremacist cops on the Chicago Police Department are involved. That's why. And it's setting it up where these white supremacists come in and kill the black people.
Just so we are clear, none of this is okay, and none of this is normal. It has been 1 week since the body of Gerard Jackson was found hanging in a wooded area in Michigan right outside the Electric Forest Festival that he was attending. His death was ruled a suicide. It has been a little over 2 weeks since the body of Tone Miller was found hanging in a park in Miami. Her death ruled a suicide. It has been a little over 2 months since the body of Juliana, 16-year-old, found hanging near a church in Charlotte. Her death ruled a suicide. It has been about 4 months since the body of Kyle Basinga was found in Georgia hanging. None of this is okay, and none of this is normal. It has been less than a year. It will be a year in September when they found Trey Reed's body at Delta State University in Mississippi. His death ruled a suicide. And you may be asking, Rashonda, well, how many black people walk around with rope on them? The answer would be none, Helen. 0. Because none of this is okay, and none of this is